God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Morgan Township meeting, October 9th, 2018. I can get a roll call, please.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Morgan Township Board of Trustee minutes from September 25th, 2018 as written.
Second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from September 26, 2018 through October 9th, 2018. Payment number 689-2018 through 734-2018. Warrant number 8807 through 8834 for a total of $69,096.38.
Second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, do we have anyone from the audience has anything tonight? If not, Mr. Marshall.
All right. First thing on my agenda, the UB or Fairview Cemetery. I've not found at this date a modern day owner. I say modern day because, I mean, the only deed I found so far goes back to 1859. I need to do further. Jill Evans has been helping me. And Rob had mentioned there was some litigation that went on between the cemetery in the late 1880s, early 1980s and 1990s, or early 1990s, that he thought was about, that he'd been told was about that cemetery. Jill begins to think that it wasn't that cemetery, it was Jenkins Cemetery, which I have nothing else. I'm going to conduct a little further. If I do not find an owner or someone to contact about the cemetery, then we, from Roger Gates's advice, can go ahead and do what is called an affidavit of will, of deed, which will then change the deed, will change the property shipped to us from the current listed GIS owners. Okay?
And correct me if I'm wrong, under Roger's direction, we don't touch or do anything to it until that's done.
Until that
correct?
time, right.
And at that time, did you talk to Roger about granting an easement or some kind of access to it?
I did not, but I will mark that down. I forgot
Okay.
that one
Because we will have
question. Okay.
Have that, otherwise we have to trespass over property owners to get to it too.
I think we should open up Can Road again.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. I received, I did, when I met with Roger, I met with him, I gave him a copy of the current revised articles that the zoning commission has been working on and that we're in the process of taking, hopefully, to Butler County Planning after Wednesday's meeting, next Wednesday's meeting. But he has given me some pieces of information on, specifically on 7A, because that is the one that is in particular that the zoning commission is going to have to look at very deeply. So we may be holding that part up, and that's all I have to really say about that. Number three, in speaking with, my main purpose for going was about the litigation pursuit and everything else. Roger and I came to sort of an agreement that the best way to start is acting like we were starting all over again. But this time making sure that there was a final notice letter. And I am in the progress of doing that letter as we speak. I started it Monday, and then I've been rehashing, making sure it's good, and I will be sending that out because as zoning commissioner, I have the authority to do that under that. So the letter will be a new start, and it will give the the person 15 days to come into compliance. If they do not, then I will pursue the civil suit. Number 4, I have a letter in your packet, as you will see. The letter reads, Morgan Township Trustees, the Morgan Township zoning is hereby requesting your approval to increase the following zoning fees. Residential estate, which is current at $1,000 for the first 4 lots plus $50 each additional, to $1,600 first 4 lots and $100 each additional after that. And this is going for the residential estate development only. That would be 7A in our new current, okay? Taking new construction from $300 to $400, and that would be for new homes. Accessory structures would go from 50 to 200, structures over 500 square feet. Accessory structures would go from $50 to $100 for structures under 500 square feet.
Why is there such a drastic increase for those as opposed to anything else? Seems like everything else just went up minimally, but that's
I-
4 times.
The zoning commission I asked the very thing to the zoning commission, why so high on that? They replied that there was, from my giving them information and everything else, accessory structures were the big thing going on. And they felt like that might hold them down, I don't know. But this is what they're asking for. We certainly can go by what you guys want to as well. This is, all we're asking for is approval of this. If you feel that you don't want to take it that high, then we'll lower them but still increase them.
If you compare these to other zoning boards, does this pretty much
Yes,
go
especially.
along the lines of where
Yeah,
they're at as well?
Yeah.
Because this was, basically, our fees has been, I don't even remember the last time it's changed, or does that go all the way back to 88?
I think Ed had them changed once somewhere in the early 2000s, but, okay. I know new construction it had gone from 200 to 300 or something like that. But, okay, decks and fences from $30 to $50. A deck greater than 120 square feet. A deck less than 120 square feet would remain would go from 30 to 35. And then we just had a solar panel come into the mix of it all, and I required a certificate, and we're going to be requiring certificates for it. There was no current fee, but the zoning commission is considering it as an accessory structure, and we're placing that as $200, but it is not a solar panel that is on a roof. It is the ground solar panel. And there will be one going in on California Road within the next month. It's already been, I'm awaiting in the mail the application and the check and everything else for it to be approved. And I have a feeling that it'll go in pretty quickly after that. And of course, they've got to go to Butler County. The addition of the solar panel fee is from panels placed on the ground, and the zoning commission agreed that it should be treated as an accessory structure, meeting all necessary zoning district setback requirements for the placement on the lot. The new fees will become effective January 1st, 2019. Respectfully, Dale Marshall, Zoning Commission.
And you need approval, correct?
Yes, by state ORC, and I forget the ORC number.
I think this is a good idea. I think it helps counter the pay that we put forth for Dale, and he puts a lot of time in certain ones, and I think these prices affect some of the time he puts into those certain projects. Would I be correct in that, Dale?
Yes, because on most all of these, those are the ones that take me out to be an inspector as opposed to just letting it go. Like a fence or a pool, I don't go out and inspect those. I go by and see if they put it up, but I don't stand out there and measure to see if they're set back. But
So is there a current fee for pools?
yes,
Are we not going to increase those?
above ground and everything else, the zoning commission felt that at this time they could stay where they were at. Okay, I can certainly take that back to them on Wednesday night if you feel that we need to increase those as well.
These aren't gonna go into effect till January 1st, 2019.
Right.
So we do have time to maybe look at the rest of them. I
Right.
think if you're gonna increase them, do it across the board.
Okay, all right, no problem. All right, so I'll be back with another letter,
Okay.
all right?
Anything else?
No, you still
I got,
he's still
I'm
on
still on my,
item 4.
item
That's
4.
what I thought.
If you would, also in your packet is third quarter revenue earned by the zoning filing fees, as you can see. Third quarter is in orange. As you can see, year-to-date on the new homes, we are at 9. Today, I've signed and filled out and approved a 10th new home certificate. So it's not showing on the report, that'll show up in fourth quarter. And Connie, I believe this will balance with you because I balanced with you when I first made this report, and all I'm doing is just adding in the new figures, so.
I'd have to run a report,
Yeah,
I don't
and
know,
I
but,
meant to ask you to run one, but then we didn't see each
Yeah.
other, and I didn't write you an email, so, and everything, but I feel confident that this is pretty accurate in terms of the amount of revenue, just from certificates alone, and lot splits and everything else. So, if you have any questions on that. And this is also the larger piece, the larger Excel spreadsheet tells you exactly what their certificates were all about. And this is just for the third quarter from July, August, September. I attended the OKI Regional Planning Conference last Friday. My biggest takeaways from that is, gosh, I need to watch a lot of stuff. I didn't realize how much I felt like I was watching. One of the biggest one that hit me was stormwater runoff and topography. I mean, topography out here, especially as you get more toward Indiana, gets kind of crazy. And I've got a good example of that when I'm meeting with a gentleman Thursday evening to discuss where to place a pole barn. Land use, another big thing. Commercial projects, if we were to ever get into a big one. Just management meeting in general, and then ethics. I think in every one of the sessions that I happened to be in, ethics was the biggest thing that came out of it too as well. And that's just how you're doing it. And I would like an executive session for us to begin to discuss the emails that I sent you last week concerning land use planning.
Okay.
That's it, unless you've got any questions for me.
No more at this time. You guys good?
Yep.
All right, Mr. Brim is on vacation unless, did anybody? Okay, we're good there. Mr. Griffith?
I don't have a lot tonight. Obviously, I wasn't planning on being here. But anyway, Chief let me, and I talked to Penny, I'll give a quick update, what I know. Chief was admitted to the hospital from the cardiothoracic surgeon's office at 2 o'clock today for hypotension and a hypotensive episode. He had an echocardiogram, and the decision was to operate on him tomorrow and do a bypass about 11 o'clock. That's all I know. I'll keep you all updated, keep him in his thoughts. So he's got a very good surgeon that I went out on a limb and recommended, so the pressure's on me. So he's very good. So he's in good hands with Christ. So he'll probably be there at least a week. That's generally the course for that. So I'll be the acting chief, I guess, until he gets back, which will be a while. I don't know how long, but
You've done it before.
yeah, we've done it before, 3 years ago, so we'll do it again. The only thing I have tonight is the numbers. That's the only thing. It does reflect that we have caught up and passed last year's numbers. So we had a spurt this month. Last month, we were very busy in the EMS side, almost 40 runs for EMS, which is over one a day. So, and there's also one structure fire, the barn on California, that was due to lightning. And that is at a $250,000 loss, because that also had an apartment behind it. It wasn't just a barn, it actually had living quarters, so there was more loss there than you would think, than just a barn. Plus, it was over 1887 built, so I don't know how you have replacement cost on that. But other than that, there's nothing really, this really stands out in these numbers, other than we are getting busier and busier.
So, while the chief is out, you are obviously have a full-time job.
Yes.
You have made arrangements with neighboring townships to.
Well, here's the complicating fact. So there's this hurricane called Michael, and they activated the IMT team. So since Chief's in the hospital, guess who the leader of the IMT team is?
Steve Miller.
Steve Miller. So the best laid plans. They also took Tony Schroyer from here. I couldn't do a lost stop on him because he's not a full-time employee, so.
You know, that is on hold at the present moment because they botched the
Yeah.
paperwork, so we
But-
don't know if that's a definite
Yeah,
yet
but
or not.
the last thing I got from Havercos was they were leaving tomorrow at 8. I don't know, so, and also, so the best laid plans. I'll talk to Assistant Chief down at Ross. Now, he's not there every day, but I've talked to all our other partners, and we'll have to do what we'll have to do. He's only going to be gone 14 days, if at all, so for the next 14 days, it may be a little slim during the day. But he has pledged, no matter if he's here or not, Ross Township's 100% support of us, mutual aid, whatever we need. He'll pass that along to Chris Johns, Assistant Chief, when he leaves. He was the first to call me when Chief was not, got sick and said, "What do you need?" So.
How are we doing as far as staffing with Penny? I know Penny picks up a
That's
ton
gonna,
of hours.
Yeah, that's gonna put a huge hole. If you look at how unit days work, Unit 2 is 7 out of our 10 paramedics work somewhere else in Unit 2. That's gonna put a hole. I can offer minimum manning. I will do everything humanly possible to cover it, the best I can. But there's no magic bullets, and I'm not gonna say there is when there's not. She picked up a lot of shifts, and Unit 2 is gonna be really slim around here. It's just a fact. Until he gets, bless you, until he gets back, until Penny feels that she can leave him, we're definitely gonna feel that, because Penny was always our go-to person. If we had somebody call in, we just got Penny to work. We don't have that luxury. So we'll make sure, I'll leave no stone unturned, but at the end of the day, I have no magic bullets, but I'm working on this weekend, and I'm working on covering her shifts right now. At least I'm doing a week at a time. So I've got 2 covered. I got 2 more to cover. I'll start working the phones tonight and tomorrow.
Will this affect your mutual support to any of the other townships?
I hope not. I mean, if they call, we'll go. We can't tell them no anymore. My only concern is, like right now, Ross called for our only paramedic. Luckily, it wasn't, they didn't put their unit back in, and not 2 minutes later, we had we had our own. So, we won't say no, but we'll think about them very hard. But we'll try to uphold our agreements with them as they have with us. And I think the support's been very good. Even other chiefs have called and said, if you get something really big, we'll do a mini IMT activation with who's left if they don't go to Michael, because we have that agreement for we call it a mini IMT, which you can hit bring chiefs from all over the county, any that are left, because they had a pretty big activation for Florida.
Have you gotten a hold of Crosby?
Yeah,
Okay.
I talked to them all. So, the only problem with Hamilton County is by the time it gets to Hamilton County Dispatch, you're about 15 minutes into it due to lag time, and Harrison. So
Okay.
that's a plan.
Well, if we can help you in any way.
Okay, and I asked for a very brief executive session related to personnel, please.
Yes. All right. Ms. Reinhardt.
Okay. First item, I need a purchase order to Vogelpool Fire Equipment, Inc. for $1,190 for 10 5-gallon pails of AB foam.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. Then I need a purchase order to Triple D Performance and Repair for $2,500 for brakes and repairs to Squad 41. I did get the bill today, and it actually came in at like 2,040 something. It came in less than the estimate. I'd made the PO, gave us a cushion, so I can, once this is all done, I can close the PO, and that money will go back into the fire fund.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Motion carried. I saw Jill Evans last night, and she reminded me that we need to find someone or some group to do the display case out in the hallway. Come election day, it'll be 2 years since it's been changed. So she was, I told her,
I've reached out to some of the Girl Scout and Brownie troops that we allow to have their meetings at
Right.
the community center. And I have, now that it's a new school year, they're all coming to me with their dates. I'll make that kind of a,
condition.
yeah, we're giving you the facilities, we need something back. And so
Okay.
I'll get
What
some.
about also Morgan School? Do you have a connection with your wife at Morgan School?
Middle school, we're doing fire prevention there Friday. I talked to Mary today.
But even if they had like the class that wanted to,
I'll talk to them. We'll be there.
they wanted to take and put some of the kids' stuff in there,
Art class or something.
art class or different things.
All right, we'll work on that. She's right, it's been, it slipped off the radar.
And she came over and sat down to me, and she said, you remember, like 2 years ago, I said, I know exactly what you're gonna say, Jill. I'll bring it up at the meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
The fourth item I have, we are now a member of the Oxford Chamber of Commerce. We had to do that in order to get our health insurance at the reduced rate that we got. They host business after hours, and different businesses host it, and they have refreshments and things, and you get to see how the businesses operate and who the people are, and it's a nice meet and greet. Lenore and I did that often when I was working at the bank in Oxford. The next one is October the 17th from 5 to 7, and it's hosted by New York Life, Remax Alpha Real Estate, and Three Valley Conservation Trust, and I've put the address on there. I need to RSVP by Thursday if any of you are interested in going. So if you just,
What is it? The
it's
17th?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
No, I'll be in Vermont.
Okay,
I can't do it.
okay,
I can't guarantee nothing. The
okay.
way I'm working.
I'll let you know, Connie.
Okay, let me know by Thursday,
Okay.
so I can RSVP for us. I am going to attend. Lenora will be working at the bank in Oxford, we think, that day. So she and I are going to go. Like I said, I attended them when I worked up there, and you get to see a new business and what they do and who the people are.
I'd like to, it's just,
Okay.
I have
Is
no
that-
idea at the moment.
What, do new businesses kind of explain or present themselves in this forum?
They'll
Is that
probably
what that
have,
is?
normally they have like literature about themselves. It's been a while since I've been to one. I think the last one I did was Luna Blue or something. It was a new hair salon / spa on Spring Street. That's been several years ago. And they were brand new, so they were, touting their services and everything. But it doesn't have to be a new business. Like LC&B has hosted them at different times. It's just the businesses that are in the Oxford Chamber can elect to host one of these business after hours.
Okay.
Like I say, it's a good place to network and to meet people and to find out what's going on. You all have mail in your mailboxes. Please pick them up, whatever's in there. There was a notification that I got from Frank's office about Part D Medicare that I had to give to everybody by the 15th, so luckily it came today. I could get it out to all of you. And I think that's all I have.
Rob had made a invite to all of us to go take a look at the roads around the township, and I was able to hook up with him on Friday, and we were able to get out and look at the 30 miles of road and we kind of just eyeballed or thumb in the wind and just felt like if we could look at the roads and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, that would be a good starting point to start a trustee discussion on where we need to focus and what we would need to do for a 5-year or an extended outlook plan. So mostly for about 90% of the roads, we concurred that it was ranked between, like, for a 1 and 5, 1 being no maintenance for probably 5 years, a 5 needing maintenance sometime probably in 2019. So 90% of the roads in a rough calculation were a 1 or a 2, so that's a good news. That's kind of how I saw it. There were 3 road segments that we put into the 3, 4, or 5 category. And those roads were Lehigh between Northwind and Chapel, which are about a mile, and that was rated about a 4 or 4+. The second one was Morgan Ross between Lehigh and Millville Shandon, and that was scored about a 4. So the third one was on North Dwyer. It was about a mile worth of road, and that was considered a 3, meaning probably in the next 2 years or so. So if you condense the roads that we would want to look at in the next several years and then see what we can afford to do, you might have a combination of chip seal or some blacktop if that works, if the road's degraded enough, but perhaps maybe chip seal on all of those roads. But it's a good feel to look at what our road requirement's going to be for the next 2 years at least, and see that we don't have any major issues that I can see that we're going to have to address and come up with some type of a large pot of funding for. So when you guys, I look forward to when you guys get to take a look at it and see what you think, and then we can kind of figure out what the money might look.
Well, most of, for like the last almost 9 years, you kind of look at doing it once every 10 years, but that isn't always how it works. Usually, whatever that year, whatever's the worst road is what you take care of now. And you may have some roads that last 20 years, you may have some roads that only last 5 years. So that you can't always guarantee that 10-year rotation of doing something, because you're going to take care of what's worse. So
I think that what you'd have to do is go look at it, do exactly what you're saying every year to see what's going to need the immediate attention or the 1 or 2 year attention. So it just heads up. And the second thing, I've had a couple people call for Morgan Township, and they're asking to get signs to support the Ross Police and the Ross High School levies. So, I can understand the high school levy, but they want to support the Ross Police levy because the police department down there runs out into our township, and I thought that was a great support mechanism. I know they're not voting for it, but they wanted to be part of the effort to support those guys down there. So we're getting them signs, whoever calls, and making the effort to take care of the people who want to be part of that. And the last thing was the Okeana Methodists had been asking about trick-or-treat night. I guess that'll be on the 31st this year again. And I don't know if we can have fire support. It sounds like we might have a problem.
For the last 25 years, we blocked the 3 intersections, and we'll be okay.
the only thing we got to do is set the time,
Yeah, I just need the time set, and we'll have it.
which I think we did earlier last year because of the darkness.
Yes, we appreciate
6 to 8.
Did we do 5:30 to 7:30, didn't we?
5:30 to 7.
Yeah, it was earlier.
We did it half hour earlier trying to get them out of the dark,
So 5:30 to 7 is,
You guys said it, we'll be there.
which kind of works out too. If they want to hit here early, then they can go, a lot of them go to the big subdivisions like in Ross. I kind of like the 5:30 to 7:30 because it's in the daylight. If you guys ain't got any problems with that,
it was good last year.
so I'll make a motion to put Halloween time, trick-or-treat time at 5:30 to 7:30 in
August
Morgan
31st.
Township.
Second.
August 31st, 2018. It's Wednesday.
And, I will try to be there and work with you again. Yeah, I know.
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Nope, the only thing I had was, Dale covered was about the cemetery, and I will be out for the next meeting on the 23rd. I'll be out of town for work.
Okay.
Did you find anything new, Tom? Have you
No,
been looking?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to have that, correct? Meeting, yes,
Because I'll have checks that'll have to be signed.
yes.
And Brenda's going to send us that resolution, the reimbursement resolution. We'll need to pass that. So yeah, we do need to have a meeting.
Did you bring that paperwork for the,
Yep.
Okeana grant? Because we did find out what the, county engineer, I believe they came back with an estimate of $108,000,
That's what I heard.
which I still think they're low because in the last 2 years, all their estimates have been low. But I still think, even if 108 and it was a little low, I think we're fine. I think we'll be all right with that, because the grant was for 110 and then we pay the rest.
I've got the originals here that need to be signed.
So we need to read this whole thing? Yeah, I'll let you read it. I'm tired and can't see.
Date it today.
Yes.
All right. This will be a project agreement, GDBG 2018. This agreement on the 9th day of October 2018 between the County of Butler, Ohio, herein referred to as county, and the Township of Morgan, Butler County, Ohio, herein referred to as township. Whereas a project or activity described as Okeana storm sewer improvements, herein referred to as project, has been approved and funded for the amount of $110,000 under the Butler County Entitlement Program. And whereas the parties desired to define their rights and duties by execution of this project amendment, now therefore the parties hereby agree as follows: pursuant to RC 307.15, the parties agree that county shall undertake to perform the project and is hereby authorized by township to exercise any power, perform any function, or render any service on behalf of township or its legislative authority that township or legislative authority may exercise, perform, or render in connection with the project. County may assign the performance of tasks or duties in connection with the project to such county officers, office holders, departments, agencies, employees, or agents as county determines is appropriate under the circumstances. 2, county is hereby granted the right to enter upon any property owned, leased, or controlled by township for the purpose of performing the project, subject, however, to advance notice to and supervision by township. 3, other than those funds committed to the performance of the project pursuant to the Butler County Entitlement Program, township shall be responsible for the cost of performing the project and for any claims or expenses which arise out of the performance of the project, except as may be directly and proximately caused by the gross negligence of the county. Township shall, upon receipt of an invoice from county, immediately reimburse county for any such costs, claims, or expenses. 4, this agreement has been approved by the legislative authority of the township by resolution or ordinance attached and made part of this agreement. Signed by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Mary Ann
They're yellow.
Nardiello.
I'll second that.
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Motion approved. I have the originals. There are three. Three need to be signed by all three trustees. Need that one back. If you send the minutes, then I'll input this in there. Yeah, and then I'll send it, yeah.
The only other thing I've got was talk about this once we proceed forward. When Rob gets back, I'd like to try to get all three of us to meet with Rob on the agreements in Okeana. I think the show of force, all three of us there, is what we need to do. Do we want this in blue?
Doesn't make any difference. If you wanna do, I've got blue if you want blue.
He's got blue on the. So when Rob gets back, I'll get with him and try to get us all together and meet with the residents
Okay.
to do those agreements down there. And other than that,
Need an executive session.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session at 7:47 for personnel issues and legal issues.
I'll second that.
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
We are adjourned to executive session.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session at 8:31.
I'll second it.
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
We are back in session.
Make a motion to, given the fact that our fire chief is out on medical leave and the department is going to be shorthanded, to make an exception to our policy that prohibits staff vehicles from leaving the township overnight, to allow Captain Fawns to take a staff vehicle home with him, and he resides in Hanover Township until our department gets back to normal, when Chief and that returns and we're back to full staffing.
Second.
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, one other thing, I received another letter of thank you for Mr. Galloway on his participation of the Butler County full-scale exercise, which goes into the mass casualty and everything else. I will not go into the whole letter, seeing he's not here, but want to know if that be noted as well. And that being known, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a, oh, go ahead.
No, you can talk. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
All right, let me stop.